well, to let you know this is going to be filmed after my last failed attempt at live streaming this at the Great North a few weeks ago, so we're going to attempt to do it again, so anyone whose identity needs to remain kind of anonymous, just stay behind the camera, you'll be grand. So yeah, I was asked just to give a very short kind of presentation of the Alpine Meet that's going to run on the 6th of July in Ailefroide, Briançon in France. We've been there before, I've been there a couple of times before, and chose it because I'd been there before, because it has so much rock climbing, multi-pitching, high routes, walking routes, high peaks, snow, ice, rock, more rock, more rock. So it's really quite amenable, and once you're there in the campsite, it's got everything within walking distance as well, so it makes for a very communal trip. You're all on top of each other, but in a very big campsite or in the nearby kind of B&Bs or guest houses or whatever that you choose to go to. So that's the kind of the nutshell of the place. It's a very accessible area. There's kayaking, there's canoeing, there's cycling. It's very family friendly as well. I'm still working on mine to see if they'll come and stay for 2 weeks while I go play for 2 weeks. So that's kind of the main reason why I chose this place. We run a number of courses. It's for everybody. Like this weekend, you can choose to do courses, you can choose to do your own thing. And really the idea for us with any of the meets is to push people kind of a little bit beyond what they're used to doing, to introduce them in a kind of fairly safe or in a training environment, to walk in a new realm, if you like, or climbing in a new area with new kind of materials that they're going to be working with, or equipment that they might need to use. So we run a series of programs over 2 weeks. From things like a 5-day hut-to-hut walk, as I would say, hands in pockets kind of a walk, so you can enjoy the scenery, you're not worried you're going to fall off something or into something. We also do a more adventurous 5-day trip, adventure walking, and then we do 3 levels of alpinism. And as you go through those different courses, the ratio goes down, so it gives you more scope to do more things, move quicker, and challenge yourself even more. The whole, I suppose, ethos of the meets is a training background, so you're there to learn skills, you're not necessarily there to be mammied through things, to try and foster independence, and hopefully, say you come for 2 weeks, you do a course in the first week, and then you maybe go off and do your own thing, or you just come along and meet people and go and do your own thing from day one anyway. So we hope to have a good number of people during the trip. So this would be very kind of typical walking terrain that you might be in. You see the folk there in the shorts and t-shirts, and you quite often have much bluer skies than we have in that picture. And you would be travelling, journeying from one hut to another, or going out for day trips, or going up and bivvying, sleeping under the clear kind of starry skies, and seeing just what it's like underneath the stars at night time. It's fantastic. You also then have a mixture of walking, but with technical equipment. You've ropes, you've axes, you've crampons, because of the terrain that you're on, not necessarily because of the angles that you're on. You can fall into things, into crevasses. You're covered, the ground is covered beneath you. So it really kind of, the risk assessment that you're going to make in the mountains in Ireland will be different to the risk assessment you're going to make in Scotland in winter conditions, and different again when you kind of operate in altitude. So it really does broaden out the adventure you can have in the mountains and where you're operating. So there's just a couple of maps to flick through to show you the area. It's quite a big area, it's a national park. It's very well managed. They have tracks and trails, they tell you how long it's going to take you to get from A to B. Very well marked, and it means then basically it is aimed for anyone. They want to kind of get people up into the mountains, they want to make it accessible. And you can do anything there. As it's saying there. Okay. So when I went on my first meet, probably about 15 years ago, I met climbers that I still climb with now, and made friends with people like-minded, as you've done this weekend if you've never been before, and hopefully passed emails and you'll be out again to do your own stuff. It really is the meet ethos. It's not about doing a training course necessarily, but meeting people so then you're enabled to go on and do your own stuff. And you know, the Alps can be intimidating to people because they're high and you need a guide and you need this and you do. but yet they're very accessible to people as well. And you know, folk, when they choose to go out to the Alps for the first time, maybe think that they can't challenge themselves, they can stick within a leader and they have to be kind of managed in that way, but it's not, it's actually very accessible to get out, and there are tons of guides out there. It's kind of, you can choose or you can do your own thing. So when you're up in the Alps, you quite often be roped together on walks. You'd need to know a few knots. You need to be able to walk properly in your crampons or in your boots. If you slip up there, it's obviously more remote, higher, got altitude to deal with, cold and so forth. So it's trying to work in different parameters. So you've got the skills from here walking, but then you have different terrain, tracks and trails like that, where here you might consider them, it's important to be able to move fast in the Alps because the peaks are higher, you want to get down before nightfall. So it's a risk-benefit. If you move slowly, yeah, you might be a bit safer, but you're going to be caught out. So you need to operate efficiently and move efficiently so that you can move quickly without it becoming risky movement. So that kind of thing. So it's a different kind of approach sometimes to where you are, but then you're walking in this spectacular. It's just all around you. It's inspiring. Okay, so you can bag your peaks. The notion of going up into the mountains and spending a night there so that then you can carry on going up, we don't necessarily do that here. We might carry on going along and over peaks, but there you go up and expend quite a lot of energy getting up high, and you might stay in a hut then rather than carry all your bivy gear. So you can go and do a few routes from a hut. So it's a kind of a different thing. It's enabling you to go and do lots of stuff and not have to go from valley up and valley down and so on. And the journeying aspect as well, it's massive. It's big, so you can go somewhere and see a valley, another valley, another valley. And like Louise was saying last night, you've got an access to spot other things that you want to go and look at. It's just so impressive. I mean, yeah, we can go and cherry pick. It's fantastic. So, yeah, these are just some of the courses I was talking about. So there's hut-to-hut walks. It's a 5-day course with a 6th day built in for rest days off of bad weather, or someone's not feeling too well that day. And that would be walking and travelling a journey in amongst the mountains into the Alpine huts, and just experiencing all of that that's there. There are exposed bits, they're high. You might be using ropes sometimes, you might feel uneasy on the ground sometimes, so a reasonable level of fitness, which I don't doubt you all have because you're all kind of active, makes life easier, but that doesn't stop you suffering from altitude. And it mightn't stop you from suffering from altitude this year and then not next year, or you've never had a problem and then you do. It doesn't necessarily follow that you're not going to struggle or that you will. So there are alpine courses at different levels. Fundamentally, the intro-alpine mountaineering, the intermediate and then the advanced, they work at ratios of 1 to 4 for the intro, 1 to 2 for the other 2. And it means that you can do more with lower numbers. You can move on ground faster if there's a smaller group. And you can cover more advanced skills or higher grades of climbs. The routes are graded. So if you're considering kind of doing a course, by all means give me a buzz just to see, well, what exactly is the difference between this and that course? What would I be better off? And what I would say is if nearly underestimate what you're able for, because there's a huge amount of learning at any of the courses. If you've never been to the Alps before, it's not just walking at a higher level. There's a whole pile more stuff, winter kind of crampons and axes and so forth. So, but do ring, because I mean it's your money and it's your time, so get what you want from that. And as I looked through these slides when I first came across them, I realised there's very little in the way of climbing. Ailefroide is, the campsite is 5 minutes. It's housed by 6 multi-pitch routes, sport routes, boats. There are college routes, school crags, just kind of single pitch, bolted to the hills, and like you can just climb and climb and climb, and all the way up the valley you have these beautiful 5-6 pitch routes at all grades, steep, slabby, overhanging, whatever you like, and in this spectacular scenery. So if you want to kind of even start climbing, it's an ideal kind of spot to do that as well. Yeah, you can do your own thing. We've kind of gone through that bit. There's a list of equipment I won't bore you with on the website, or you can ring and ask more information. Your normal hill walking gear, and then a few little bits and pieces extra. There's booking forms and all the rest on the website, and I said every 10 minutes, so that is me. Have you any questions? You know where I am anyway. Roseanne, sorry, in the office. If you just give me a ring if you want to ask. And there's a whole package on our website as well with what I just talked about, expanded a good bit. Of course.
Thank you.